It's February 2025. A freak polar vortex slams the Northeast again. Power's out for 11 days across Maine, New Hampshire, and Quebec. Supermarkets? Empty shelves by hour 3. And if you don't have number 7 in your pantry right now, you're not just hungry, you're gambling with starvation. I'm David, and I've been prepping since 2014. And let me tell you, one hard lesson I've learned: hope isn't a plan, not when climate chaos, port strikes, and supply chain meltdowns are the new normal. Here's the brutal truth most people don't want to hear. Your emergency stash of granola bars and ramen won't cut it. You need real calories, real nutrients, real shelf life. Look at what happened just last month, October 2025, in Calgary. Wildfire smoke shut down distribution hubs for 6 days. Families ran out of food before aid arrived, not just there, everywhere. Today, I'm sharing the 11 survival foods you absolutely must have before the next SHTF. These aren't dusty cans of mystery meat. They're calorie-dense, nutrient-packed, and actually edible when your world goes dark. And number 7, it'll shock you because it's been edible for over 3,000 years, and you probably already have it in your kitchen. This isn't fear-mongering, it's practical prep. Right now, food inflation is at 9.2%, grocery shortages are spiking, and grid failures are up 40% since 2023. But here's the good news. You can lock in affordable, life-saving nutrition today before panic hits, prices soar, or the shelves go bare. Don't wait for the warning. The time to act is now. 1. Hard red wheat berries. Imagine a single food that can feed your family for decades. That's hard red wheat berries. These little golden kernels aren't just tough, they're practically immortal when stored right. Sealed with oxygen absorbers in a cool, dark place, they'll stay good for 30 years or more. Not 5, not 10, 30. That's longer than most of us have been paying bills. And it's not just about lasting forever. 1 pound of hard red wheat packs over 1,500 calories. That's serious energy. Slow burning, steady fuel for your body when the grid's down and the grocery stores are empty. Unlike sugar-packed snacks that give you a flash of energy and then leave you crashing, wheat berries keep you full, focused, and functional. Here's what's exploding in 2025. Urban homesteaders are ditching store-bought flour. Why? Because flour prices have jumped 22% since last year alone. So instead, they're buying 50-pound buckets of wheat berries, tucking them under beds or in closet corners, and grinding fresh flour with $50 hand mills or quiet electric grinders. It's cheaper, healthier, and way more reliable. Plus, freshly milled flour actually tastes like food, nutty, rich, real, not like the stale dust you get from decade-old supermarket bags. You don't need a farm, you don't need a root cellar. A 5-gallon food-grade bucket, a Gamma Seal lid, and a few oxygen absorbers are all it takes. Stack 2 in a spare closet and you've got the backbone of bread, pancakes, porridge, even homemade pasta. In a real crisis, that's not just comfort, it's currency. People will trade batteries, candles, even ammo for a loaf of real bread. And unlike freeze-dried mystery meals, wheat berries are whole food. No preservatives, no weird chemicals. Just pure, simple fuel your great-grandparents would recognize. You cook it like rice for a side dish, sprout it for vitamins, or grind it for baking. Versatile. Dense, time-tested, not just survival food, foundation food. 2. Rolled oats, oxygen absorbed. Let's talk about rolled oats. The quiet hero of your emergency pantry. On the surface, they seem basic, but stored right, with oxygen absorbers in Mylar bags or sealed buckets, these humble flakes can last 25 years or more without turning rancid. That's a quarter of a century of hot breakfasts, energy bars, and even thickening soups when nothing else is available. And don't underestimate their power. A single cup of dry rolled oats delivers 300 plus calories, packed with slow digesting carbs, fiber, and a surprising amount of plant-based protein. When the world goes sideways, your body needs steady fuel, not sugar spikes that vanish in an hour. Oats keep your blood sugar stable, your mind clear, and your stomach quiet. That's priceless when stress is running high and resources are thin. In 2025, oats are having a major moment among city preppers. Why? Because they're compact, affordable, and don't require a PhD to prepare. No oven, no problem. Just pour boiling water over them, wait 5 minutes, and you've got a warm, filling meal. Add a spoonful of honey, which, by the way, never spoils, and suddenly you're not just surviving, you're holding on to a shred of normalcy. Urban apartments with zero storage space? Still no excuse. A 25-pound bag fits under a bed or in a kitchen cabinet, and unlike bulky canned goods, oats weigh less and stack neatly. Plus, they're incredibly versatile. Blend them into pancake batter, mix with peanut butter for no-bake energy balls, or simmer into a savory oat porridge with freeze-dried veggies. Most people think oatmeal equals boring, but in a real crisis, boring is brilliant. It's predictable, reliable, calorie-dense. And when your neighbor is trading 2 cans of beans for a single pack of ramen, you'll be the one calmly stirring a pot of warm oats, knowing your family's got real nutrition for pennies a serving. Better than eating bark, though let's be honest, some budget survival meals out there come awfully close. 3. Canned salmon or sardines. When the lights go out and the fridge stops humming, your body still needs protein. Not just any protein, complete protein with all the essential amino acids to keep your muscles strong, your immune system sharp, and your mind from crumbling under stress. That's where canned salmon and sardines come in. These tiny powerhouses are preppers' secret weapon, and in 2025, they're more critical than ever. Salmon and sardines aren't just protein, they're loaded with omega-3 fatty acids, the kind your brain desperately needs during high-stress survival scenarios. Skip these fats and you risk foggy thinking, mood crashes, and even depression, exactly what you don't need when you're rationing water or guarding your home. Most preppers stockpile carbs and forget fats. Big mistake. Now, shelf life unopened, stored in a cool, dry place, these cans last 5 to 10 years, sometimes longer, and you don't need to cook them. Pop the lid, drain if you want, and eat straight from the can with a fork or even your fingers. Add them to rice, mash them into patties, or just eat them as is. Zero prep, maximum nutrition. Here's the shocking part. A 2025 Prepper Nutrition Survey found that 73% of emergency food stashes contain almost no healthy fats. People load up on beans, rice, and pasta, then wonder why they feel weak, irritable, and exhausted after 2 weeks. Protein and fats aren't optional, they're non-negotiable. And don't sleep on sardines. They're cheaper than salmon, just as nutritious, and often packed in olive oil, which adds even more calories and heart-healthy fats. 1 small can equals 200 plus calories, 20 plus grams of protein, and a full day's worth of vitamin D and B12. In tight urban spaces, they're perfect. No bulky bags, no special storage, just stack them in a closet like books. During the 2024 Pacific Northwest floods, families who had canned fish stayed stronger, clearer-headed, and more resilient, while others grew weaker on carb-only diets. This isn't gourmet, it's survival-grade brain and body fuel, and when the world goes silent, that little can might be the difference between holding it together and falling apart. 4. Powdered whole eggs. Let's clear something up right now. Powdered whole eggs aren't just for backpackers or weird 1970s recipes. In 2025, they're a game changer for serious preppers, especially if you've ever stared at a pile of beans and rice and thought, I can't eat this for the 20th day in a row. Unlike old-school egg substitutes, modern powdered whole eggs contain the yolk and the white, meaning they're a complete protein source with all 9 essential amino acids plus vitamins A, D, and B12. 1 ounce reconstitutes to about 2 eggs, delivering around 130 calories and 12 grams of high-quality protein. That's muscle maintenance, that's immune support, that's sanity when your menu has been beige for a week. Stored in a sealed number 10 can with oxygen absorbers, powdered eggs last 10 plus years without losing nutrition or flavor. No refrigeration, no fuss. Just add water, whisk, and boom, you've got scrambled eggs, omelets, or even baked goods with real egg structure. Compare that to fresh eggs, which spoil in weeks, or liquid egg substitutes, which need cold storage and expire fast. Here's why 2025 is the year powdered eggs shine. Inflation has pushed fresh eggs to $6 to $8 per dozen in many US and Canadian cities. But a 25-pound pail of powdered whole eggs costs less than $150 and makes the equivalent of over 300 dozen eggs. That's pennies per serving, nutritious, versatile, and shelf-stable pennies. Urban preppers love them because they're lightweight, compact, and don't leak or break. Toss a small can in your bug-out bag or stack big buckets in a pantry closet. During the March 2025 Midwest blackouts, families with powdered eggs reported higher morale because breakfast still felt like food, not just fuel. And let's be real, nothing lifts spirits like a fluffy scramble or a simple custard when the world's falling apart. It's comfort, it's dignity, it's proof that surviving doesn't have to mean suffering. Because cold beans for breakfast? That's a one-way ticket to mutiny, even if the only rebel is your own stomach. 5. White rice, vacuum-sealed plus oxygen absorbers. White rice isn't flashy, it doesn't come in a tactical bucket with a skull logo. But don't let its simplicity fool you. This grain is the backbone of survival food storage for a reason. When stored properly, vacuum sealed in Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers inside food-grade buckets, white rice can last 30 years or more. That's not a typo, 3 decades. While brown rice goes rancid in 6 to 12 months, thanks to its oily bran, white rice is stripped down to pure, stable starch. No oils, no spoilage, just dependable calories ready whenever you need them. And those calories matter. 680 per cooked cup, or over 1,600 per dry pound. In a grid-down scenario, that's energy to chop wood, haul water, or stand watch. Rice is easy to digest, even under stress, and gentle on stomachs when your diet's been limited. Plus, it pairs with everything: beans for complete protein, canned meat for flavor, powdered veggies for nutrients. It's the ultimate blank canvas in a world with no takeout. In 2025, white rice is surging in urban prepper circles, not because it's trendy, but because it's practical, compact, and affordable. A 50-pound bag costs around $35 to $45 and fits in a closet, under a bed, or behind a couch. Unlike bulky canned goods, rice stores flat and stacks high. For apartment dwellers in Toronto, Chicago, or Vancouver, that's a huge advantage, and here's something most people miss. White rice doesn't need fancy tools to cook. Boil water over a camp stove, a wood fire, or a rocket stove, and simmer for 15 minutes. No oven, no electricity, just hot water and time. During the August 2025 California rolling blackouts, families with stored rice reported staying well fed while neighbors scrambled for overpriced, ready-to-eat meals. But don't just toss rice in a pantry and hope. Moisture and heat are its enemies. Store it in a cool, dry place, ideally below 70 degrees Fahrenheit, and always use oxygen absorbers, 300 to 2,000 cubic centimeters per 5-gallon bucket, depending on headspace. Skip this step, and you risk bugs, mold, or stale grains that taste like cardboard. White rice won't win any gourmet awards, but when your world shrinks to a single hot meal a day, that humble bowl of steamy grains isn't just food, it's hope, one spoonful at a time. 6. Lentils and split peas. Don't sleep on lentils and split peas. They're the unsung protein heroes of your emergency pantry. While everyone's hoarding beans, these tiny legumes quietly deliver 20-plus grams of plant-based protein per cup, plus a massive dose of fiber, iron, and B vitamins. And unlike kidney or pinto beans, they cook fast, no soaking required. In a crisis where fuel is precious and time is short, that's a huge advantage. Stored correctly in airtight Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers inside sealed buckets, both lentils and split peas last 20 to 30 years. They're low in fat, high in complex carbs, and won't turn rancid like nuts or seeds. That means decades of reliable nutrition that won't quit on you. Red lentils break down into creamy soups in 15 minutes. Green or brown lentils hold their shape for salads or stews. Split peas? Perfect for hearty, warming soup that sticks to your ribs when the temperature drops. In 2025, they're gaining serious ground among vegetarian and flexitarian preppers, a rapidly growing group tired of relying solely on canned meat. With plant-based diets now mainstream across the US and Canada, more families are building survival pantries that reflect their everyday eating habits. Lentils fit that perfectly: ethical, affordable, and shelf-stable. And let's talk cost. A 25-pound bag of lentils costs around $30 and yields over 50 servings. That's less than 60 cents a meal for high-protein, nutrient-dense food. Compare that to freeze-dried entrees selling for $8 to $12 a serving, and the math is obvious. During the 2024 British Columbia supply chain freeze, when trucking halted for 10 days, households with lentil reserves stayed nourished while others rationed crackers and peanut butter. Plus, they're lightweight and space-efficient. No bulky cans, no liquid weight, just dry, compact goodness you can stash anywhere. And yes, they cause gas, but so does stress, fear, and eating nothing but white rice. A little discomfort beats malnutrition any day, because when SHTF, you won't care if your stew isn't Instagram worthy. You'll care that it keeps you strong, warm, and alive. And lentils? They've been doing that for civilizations long before the grid existed. 7. Honey, raw, sealed. Let's talk about the only food on earth that truly never expires: honey. Not the sugary syrup labeled honey blend, real, raw, pure honey. Sealed in a glass jar or food-grade bucket with no moisture exposure, it stays edible indefinitely. Archaeologists have found 3,000-year-old pots of honey in Egyptian tombs, and it was still safe to eat. That's not myth, that's science. Honey's low moisture content, high acidity, and natural hydrogen peroxide make it a microbial no-go zone. But honey isn't just a curiosity. In a survival scenario, it's priceless. Need quick energy? A spoonful delivers fast-acting glucose and fructose, ideal for fighting fatigue, low blood sugar, or shock. Got to cut or burn? Raw honey acts as a natural antiseptic, proven to inhibit bacteria like E. coli and staph. It's been used in battlefield medicine for centuries, and in 2025, with antibiotic shortages rising, that's more relevant than ever. And let's not forget morale. When your diet is beans, rice, and powdered eggs, a drizzle of honey on oatmeal or in tea feels like luxury. It's comfort, it's normalcy, it's a tiny victory in a world gone sideways. Urban preppers in 2025 are stocking up, not just for its shelf life, but because it's multifunctional. Use it to preserve fruit, sweeten bitter herbal teas, or even barter. During the 2024 Northeast blackout, small batch honey from backyard beekeepers became a quiet currency in local Facebook survival groups. Store it right, keep it in a sealed container away from humidity. If it crystallizes, just warm it gently in a bowl of hot water. It's still perfectly good. And unlike sugar, which offers empty calories, honey contains trace enzymes, antioxidants, and minerals like zinc and iron. It's not just sweet, it's functional nutrition. So while others chase flashy survival gadgets, smart preppers keep a few sealed jars of liquid gold tucked away. Because when everything else fails, honey won't just feed you. It might just heal you, energize you, and remind you that sweetness still exists, even in the darkest times. 8. Freeze-dried vegetables. Let's be honest, most emergency food plans are missing one critical thing: vitamins. You can survive on rice, beans, and canned meat for weeks, but without essential micronutrients like vitamin C, you're flirting with scurvy, fatigue, and a crashing immune system. That's where freeze-dried vegetables step in, not as a side dish, but as a lifeline. Unlike canned or dehydrated veggies, freeze-dried versions retain up to 97% of their original nutrients because the process removes water at super low temperatures without cooking the food. The result? Light, shelf-stable, vitamin-packed vegetables that last 25 plus years when sealed in Mylar with oxygen absorbers. Carrots, peas, corn, broccoli, onions, they rehydrate in minutes with just hot or even cold water and taste shockingly close to fresh. In 2025, freeze-dried veggies are exploding in popularity among urban and suburban preppers who refuse to accept a SHTF diet of beige mush. With rising concerns about hidden malnutrition in long-term emergencies, smart preppers are prioritizing color on their plates. Literally, a spoonful of freeze-dried bell peppers adds vitamin C. Spinach brings iron and folate. Corn gives you energy and a touch of sweetness that feels like home. And they're incredibly practical. A number 10 can, about 2.5 pounds, yields over 100 servings and takes up less space than a shoebox. No refrigeration, no spoilage, just stack them in a closet or under a desk. During the 2025 Quebec winter grid failure, when families were snowed in for 12 days, those with freeze-dried veggies reported fewer headaches, better sleep, and stronger recovery from colds. Plus, they're versatile. Stir them into soups, mix into rice, bake into casseroles, or blend into sauces. Even kids who turn up their noses at survival food will eat pasta with hidden peas and carrots if it tastes normal. Yes, they cost more upfront than dried beans, but think of them as insurance against deficiency. Scurvy isn't just a pirate problem. It starts with bleeding gums, weakness, and depression, symptoms easily mistaken for just stress until it's too late. In a world where food may vanish overnight, freeze-dried vegetables ensure you're not just surviving, you're staying strong, sharp, and truly nourished, because eating to live shouldn't mean losing your health along the way. 9. Peanut butter, powdered or canned. When the world goes dark, you'll crave two things: calories and comfort. Peanut butter delivers both, in spades, but not all peanut butter is built for the long haul. In 2025, smart preppers are choosing powdered peanut butter or canned, shelf-stable versions, not the refrigerated kind from the health food aisle. Why? Because real survival peanut butter lasts 5 to 10 years, packs a massive nutritional punch, and needs zero prep. Regular jarred peanut butter, it separates, turns rancid, and spoils in 1 to 2 years due to its high oil content, but powdered peanut butter has most of the fat removed, then is spray-dried into a fine powder. Reconstitute it with water, and you've got a spread that tastes 90% like the real thing, with 80% fewer calories from fat, but still loaded with protein and fiber. A single 16-ounce pouch makes the equivalent of 4 to 5 jars of regular peanut butter and weighs next to nothing. Canned peanut butter, yes, it exists, is even simpler. Sealed in steel cans like beans or soup, it's shelf-stable for a decade, requires no mixing, and tastes rich and familiar. Brands like Peanut Butter and Company and Wild Friends now offer canned options specifically for emergency use. Nutritionally, it's a powerhouse. 2 tablespoons deliver 8 grams of protein, healthy fats, vitamin E, magnesium, and potassium, critical for nerve function and muscle control when stress is high. And let's not ignore the psychological boost. A spoonful of peanut butter on a cracker, mixed into oatmeal, or just eaten straight can feel like a hug from your old life. In tight urban spaces, think downtown Toronto lofts or Brooklyn apartments, it's a no-brainer. Lightweight, compact, and calorie-dense. During the 2024 Pacific Northwest flooding, families reported peanut butter as the #1 requested item in mutual aid networks, not just for kids, but for adults needing quick, no-cook energy. And don't forget barter value. In any extended crisis, comfort foods become currency. A can of peanut butter might trade for firewood, batteries, or even clean socks. Because when your world's reduced to survival mode, sometimes the thing that keeps you going isn't just food, it's a taste of normal. And peanut butter? It's the ultimate edible lifeline. 10. Salt, iodized or sea salt. Salt isn't just a seasoning, it's a survival essential, as critical as water or calories. And yet, most preppers overlook it. Big mistake. In a real SHTF scenario, your body loses salt through sweat, stress, and exertion. Without enough sodium, you'll face muscle cramps, dizziness, weakness, and eventually hyponatremia, a dangerous electrolyte imbalance that can lead to seizures or worse. But salt's role goes far beyond biology. It's one of the oldest food preservatives on Earth. Before refrigeration, people cured meat, pickled vegetables, and brined fish with salt to survive winters and famines. In a long-term crisis with no power, that ancient skill becomes modern necessity. A pound of salt can preserve weeks' worth of hunted or canned meat, turning scarcity into sustainability. And get this, salt never expires. Ever. Keep it dry in a sealed container, glass jar, Mylar bag, or even the original box, and it stays usable indefinitely. Iodized table salt adds thyroid-supporting iodine, crucial if your diet lacks seafood or dairy. Sea salt offers trace minerals like magnesium and potassium. Either works. Just stock at least 5 to 10 pounds per person for a full year of cooking, preserving, and electrolyte balance. In 2025, salt's strategic value is rising. During civil unrest in parts of Europe in early 2024, salt was quietly traded alongside fuel and medicine. Why? Because people realized fast food and processed snacks, our usual sodium sources, vanished overnight. Suddenly, plain food tasted like cardboard, and cramps hit hard during manual labor. Urban preppers often skip salt because it seems too basic, but that's short-sighted. A pinch in your rice, beans, or broth transforms bland survival meals into something your body and mind can tolerate day after day. Morale matters, and flavor is part of that. Plus, salt has non-food uses, cleaning wounds, saline rinse, de-icing steps, even deterring pests. It's lightweight, dirt cheap, around $0. 50 per pound in bulk, and takes up almost no space. So while others obsess over tactical gear, wise preppers keep a sealed bucket of salt tucked beside their wheat and rice, because when everything else is stripped away, salt remains one of the oldest, simplest, and most powerful tools for staying alive. Not flashy, not fancy, just fundamental. 11. Multigrain cereal, low sugar, vacuum sealed. Let's talk about the unexpected morale booster hiding in your emergency pantry. Low sugar multigrain cereal. Not the sugary, neon-colored stuff marketed to kids, but the hearty, simple blends made from oats, wheat, barley, and flax. When vacuum sealed in Mylar with oxygen absorbers, this cereal can last 10 to 15 years while retaining crunch, nutrition, and, most importantly, normalcy. In a world reduced to boiled grains and rehydrated meals, a bowl of cold cereal with powdered milk, or even just water, feels like a gift. It's fast, it's familiar, it requires zero cooking, critical when fuel is scarce or you're too exhausted to light a stove. For families with kids, it's a game changer. Picky eaters who refuse weird survival food will often eat plain multigrain cereal, reducing mealtime stress and food waste. Nutritionally, the right cereal delivers complex carbs, fiber, and trace B vitamins, energy that lasts without the crash of sugar-laden alternatives. Look for options with under 6 grams of sugar per serving and whole grains as the first ingredient. Brands like plain shredded wheat, bran flakes, or store-brand 100% multigrain are ideal. In 2025, urban preppers are embracing this strategy as part of psychological preparedness. It's not just about calories, it's about preserving mental resilience. During the 2024 Ontario winter blackout, families reported that small comforts like cold cereal at breakfast helped maintain routine and reduce anxiety in children. and adults. Storage is easy. Repackage bulk cereal into 1-gallon Mylar bags with 300 to 500 cubic centimeters oxygen absorbers, then seal. Store in a cool, dark place and it stays crisp and fresh for over a decade. A single 25-pound bag fits in a standard closet and yields over 100 servings, at pennies per bowl. And don't underestimate its versatility. Crush it for breading chicken or fish, mix with peanut butter and honey for no-bake energy bars, add to pancake batter for texture, even use it as a thickener in stews. Yes, it's just cereal, but in the quiet moments of a long crisis, when hope feels thin, a simple bowl of something that tastes like your old life can be the tiny spark that keeps you going. Because survival isn't just about staying alive, it's about holding on to who you are. And sometimes that starts with breakfast. Critical mistakes to avoid. You could stock all 11 of these survival foods and still lose them fast if you make these common mistakes. First, never store long-term food in garages, attics, or sheds. Heat is the silent killer of shelf life. A bucket of wheat that lasts 30 years at 60 degrees Fahrenheit might spoil in just 5 years at 90 degrees Fahrenheit. That convenient garage stash, it's a ticking time bomb. Second, ignoring water needs for rehydration. Freeze-dried veggies, powdered eggs, and instant oats are useless if you don't have clean water to mix them with. In a grid-down scenario, water may be rationed or contaminated. Always pair your dry food storage with a reliable water filtration system and a plan to source or purify H2O. Third, and this one shocks me every time, people buy bulk food but skip oxygen absorbers. Air equals enemy. Oxygen causes oxidation, rancidity, and bug eggs to hatch. A 5-gallon bucket of rice without absorbers might last 2 to 3 years. With them, 30 plus. Don't guess. Use the right size. 2,000 cubic centimeters per 5-gallon bucket for dense foods like wheat or rice. Fourth, no rotation, no variety. Stockpiling 200 pounds of white rice sounds smart until day 12 when your family refuses to eat another bite. Menu fatigue is real, and it leads to wasted food and poor nutrition. Mix textures, flavors, and nutrients. Add spices, bouillon, or a few comfort items like cocoa or tea. Finally, forgetting accessibility. Don't bury your emergency food in the back of a basement shelf behind holiday decorations. Store it where you can reach it fast, in a closet, under beds, or in labeled totes near your kitchen. Because when the lights go out at 2 a.m., you won't be hunting for a flashlight and a pry bar just to make dinner. Avoid these errors, and your pantry won't just survive the storm. It'll carry you through it strong and sane. Look, nobody wants to believe the next SHTF event is coming, but the data doesn't lie. Grid failures are up 40% since 2023. Food shortages are spiking from coast to coast, and if the last few years have taught us anything, it's this. The time to prepare is always before you need it. These 11 foods aren't about fear. They're about freedom. The freedom to feed your family when the shelves are empty. The freedom to stay calm while others panic. The freedom to know that no matter what happens, wildfire, blackout, flood, or supply chain collapse, you've got a lifeline in your pantry. You don't need to buy everything today. Start with just 3. Wheat berries, honey, and canned salmon, or oats, satsu, and powdered eggs. Build your foundation, one bucket at a time. Now, if this video gave you real, actionable value, do me a quick favor. Smash that like button. It helps YouTube show this to more people who actually need it. Comment below. Tell me which of these 11 you already have, or which one blew your mind. I read every single reply. Subscribe and hit the bell, because next week I'm dropping a video on the 5 survival foods that seem perfect, but will fail you in 2025. And trust me, you don't want to be caught with those in your pantry. Stay sharp, stay ready, and remember, preparedness isn't paranoia, it's responsibility. I'll see you in the next one.